Hi guys, this is Daniel from Northwild Design, and I just want to give you a quick tutorial on how to use my Cast Iron Grunge Pack for Affinity Designer and Photoshop. This pack includes brushes and PNG overlays and also some vector edge brushes for Affinity Designer to create a nice aged retro look, as you can see here. Just giving you some nice distressing and some grunge overlays, and all of these textures were created using high-resolution scans of cast iron pans and grimy cookware that I found, and just gives it that nice weathered look that really makes your designs and artwork stand out. So I'm going to go into Photoshop here and just show you guys how to use this on some typography. So first I will go through loading the brushes into Photoshop. So what we do is we've got our text layer here. So if you're wanting to, let's say, distress this text with the brushes, what we'll do is first, to load them up, we're gonna come over here to the little brush icon. Your Photoshop workflow may be different, so toolbars may be all over, but just look for the brush tool. So click on that, and then I've already loaded my brushes, so I'll go through the process, but you won't actually see me load them. Once you've opened the brushes, you're going to come up here where you see the little preview of what the brush looks like. We'll go to the gear icon here, and then we will scroll down to import brushes, and go find mine here. When you unzip your file, it should contain 3 folders: Affinity brush file, Photoshop brush file, and the PNG overlay file. Ignore this is just my own little file setup. So you'll go to Photoshop brushes, and then it'll be these cast iron pan brushes, and then you double click that and it will load up into your brush menu. You'll see a little folder come up, and then when you open that, you'll have 18 raster bitmap brushes to use. So I'm going to click on this one, come back here. Right now I can't do anything because this is a group layer, and for brushing in Photoshop you need to have one specific layer chosen. But because I have this text which is overlaid on each other, as you can see, it's got a shadow layer and an inline layer, what I want to do is I want to cut out portions of this text so that the background is showing up. This would be great for something like a t-shirt design or a poster, or I want it to look like the letters are distressed and give it a nice kind of weathered old retro feel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and really this is what I recommend for anyone who is trying to distress text and do it in a non-destructive way, is you're going to click your layer, or in this case I'm clicking on the group, and you're going to come here and hit the add layer mask. So add the layer mask, make sure it's chosen. As you can see, sometimes it won't have the little bounding box on it, so you'll want to click on that, and then we're going to make sure that our color is black, our foreground color is black, and then what we'll do is we'll go over it wherever we want. Let's say I just want to come over around the edges over here, and then just click once, and then you'll get a nice, I'll zoom in there, you'll get some nice distressing. Now this brush is a little, it's pretty intense, so I'm using it just so that you guys can see how the brush works and gives you a really nice distressing effect. But if you're looking for something a little more subtle, I've got different brushes here for that purpose. If you look at the previews, you can kind of get an idea which ones are going to be your subtle ones. So this one's more subtle, and using the bracket keys you can increase the size of these. As I said, these are high resolution scans, so they're going to be pretty big, But if you want to go smaller, that works just as well. So now if we just click on there, get like a little nice grit kind of effect, and it doesn't overwhelm as much as that previous brush did. Another thing you can do with this brush is you can, let's add a layer here. I'm going to drag this layer underneath the previous layer, and then I'm going to use the dropper shortcut key, which is basically just hold down Alt and you'll get the little dropper icon. I'm just going to grab the color of the background. I'll go to my color layer here, and I'm just going to go for something a little darker. And let's say you just wanted to add just some grit to the background here. And this subtle brush works great for this. Or even if you wanted, let's say, I'll do the dropper again, and I will grab the green, the dark green there. And let's say you want maybe some overspray, you know, like some kind of inking, registration error kind of stuff going on. You can do that as well, and it looks really nice and just creates an old kind of vintage effect, or you know, just really bad grunge. So you know, you have many options to use here with these brushes. Can give you lots of different effects that will make things look just really nice. This one's a little bit of a much bigger one here. I'm just going to use it to see in there. That one gives you kind of like a scratch effect that looks great on typography, great on designs. So let me show you something else that I've got here. We're going to load up one of the PNG textures, and how we can do that, there's a few ways to do that. The way I like to do it is just to place it over. So I'm going to go here into Place Embedded, and we're going to go into, oh, I was in the right folder, the PNG overlay folder, and we've got a set of 12, so a dozen different PNG textures that you can use on your design. So I'm going to grab, let's grab this one. And these are transparent, so as you can see there's no white background on these. Makes it really easy for you to put it, just overlay it onto your design. I'm going to turn this slightly, let's do right there. Okay, and then we're going to increase the size because we want to encapsulate that text. Oh, let's try that again. All right. Okay. All right, so we've got this over, and now this doesn't look awesome at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our move tool, just place this a little lower here. And again, what we can do is we can either use this to cause more distressing on the text, so punch it out just like we did before. And one way we can do that is we can grab, so we're right over the text layer here, and we're going to right click and hit the create clipping mask. So that's going to show up right on our letters here. And we can either, if we wanted to punch out the text, we'd have to do a few more steps, but let's just say instead of punching out the text, we want to just add this grunge onto the text. But as you can see, it's black. So what we'd want to do to change the color is we double click on the layer, and this will bring up the layer style panel, and we'll go over to color overlay. So what you can do is in the color overlay submenu, you'll click on the color, and then when you go over into the design itself, the dropper tool will come up, and let's say we want to give it that dark green. Hit OK, and OK again, and now you'll see that we have that dark green splotching. Or really, if we wanted to do, maybe we wanted to make it look like the background is coming through. So we'd go back to the color overlay, we would get our dropper tool again, and then we'd hit that, get the color we want, hit OK, and now it looks like it's just punched right out through. So that's one use for the overlay textures. You can also use them over photos or any other types of design that you might have that you need distressing on, or to give it these textures to give it just a real nice weathered look. So that's it for the Photoshop tutorial. I'm going to have another tutorial for Affinity Designer, and there'll be a link below for that if you're using Affinity Designer. But that's how you use the raster brushes and the grunge textures, overlay textures for Photoshop. Thanks.